Good afternoon, my friends. How are you all? Lovely to see you all. I am Taff, missed you all, you know. It feels like it's been forever. My name is Toni and this is the How to Craft Network studio where you can come and get some inspiration for your card making. Stamp, dies, all the good stuff that we all love. So if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to click the subscribe button. There is also a bell which gives you that half an hour notice as well. So if you're stuck in the supermarket and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to be here a while, or you're stuck in a queue somewhere, you can watch it on your phone if you want to. And don't forget, you can always pause me, rewind me, and you can even mute me if you wish. So in today's studio, we're going to have some fun with some technique-based products, technique-based cards using a variation of products. So we're mixing it up a little bit today. So let's say hi to everyone. So hi Roxanne, Stephanie, Paul, Rosie, Jill, Anne. Everybody's missed us too, Nathan. Anne, Nola, Brian, Tina, Phil. Lovely to see you all. So how have you all been? I hope you're all well. I'm sure you all are. And you would let me know if you were not. So what have I got to tell you about? So I'm here today and Simon's with you on Monday with the Avogo ink collection. But over the weekend, we have popped that last final sale, which we spoke about. So we did the stamps on their own. Last weekend, we did dies on their own. And this weekend is the combination of stamps and coordinating dies. This is the last one, okay? So they have been loaded on, some of them, at great prices. So if you'd like to go to FBL and check those out, I know some of you like a real bargain. And I know that some of you wait patiently until the price comes right down, because at the time you can't afford it, which is absolutely fine. So hopefully me giving things away will allow you to be able to treat yourself. So have a nosy and see what's there. It will be in the newsletter anyway. So if your friends are signed up for our newsletter, they will get the notification and they will get it in the morning. So go and have a look. There's not a lot, but there is some pretty awesome stuff in there. And in today's studio, I'm going to use one of them. So let's get into some crafting. So I'm going to use this lamination one. This is on there. And it's way, way less than half price. So you're paying less for the stamp and die than you would if it was just a stamp. Enough said. Okay, so I'm going to be using this one today, and this one is From the Heart. Now, it's our infamous lamination technique, you know, with the two-part stamp where you put the colour on and then the outline. But on the odd occasion, we have done them with dies, and this is one of them. So we're going to make a cute shaker card today, but we're also going to do a background technique that creates the appearance of wood, which I've already done one ahead of time. You will need your sunglasses for it though, because it is so bright. So I thought, right, for live demo, I'm going to do a dull one because my gosh, it's bright, and I'll show you it at the end. And then after the live video goes off air, I will give this away to anybody who comments below the live studio. Let me know your thoughts about studio. Are you enjoying studio? Do you enjoy us being here nearly every day? And if so, is there anything else you would like us to do? You know, would you like to see more launches? Would you like to see more painting? Well, just let us know, because we are all ears. We might not be able to do all of it, but we will do our absolute best. Question: I'm not getting newsletters. You need to go to our website, go down the left-hand side, and it says at the bottom, sign up for the newsletter. Just pop your email address in there and it automatically takes your details. Okay, Mandy's saying she struggles with lamination. Okay, well, maybe today I'll be able to help you, Mandy, with some techniques on how to make them look more realistic. Fingers crossed. And this one is her favourite, Carol. Okay, but first of all, before we get into the stamp set, I want to do a bit of a technique background. Now, I've got a couple of my iZink ink pads here, but they work with any of your ink pads, okay? And we're going to do the ink swiping one, but then we're going to draw some detailing to make it look like wood, which is quite cool. So if you are a little bit of a have a go card maker, then maybe you can give this one a go, because the results are really, really cool. Enjoyed the launch with Claire? Yeah. More painting techniques? Yeah, I'm working on those. I'm going to do some more Saturday morning free painting classes, because I know you all enjoyed those. So first of all, I'm just going to take some random colours. I have like a teal, a navy. Let's get this one open, and a hat. No, this one is open. I thought I'd used it. I was like thinking, have I opened it? I have used it. So I've got like a teal, like a petrol blue. This is called petrol, and this one is called ocean. And I think we might go for black. Yeah, we'll go for black as well. So I'm going for vintage wood texture, okay? So Sue's wanting more painting classes on gouache. Yes, I'll see what I can do. No problem at all. So let's just get some cardstock first before we start making a mess of my mat, because I'm not a messy crafter, as you all know. So on my background piece here, I'm going to go for the wood going down the page, but you can obviously do it this way as well. But bearing in mind, whichever way you want your wood to go is where you're going to swipe your ink pad. So don't swipe it down if you're going to put your panels from left to right and vice versa. And you'll see what I mean in a second. So I'm going to take the ocean colour. I'm just going to swipe from the bottom, from the top, and I'm just going to drag it down. So you've seen me do this technique several times, but it's an incredible technique that gives you some really realistic backgrounds, some sort of silhouette ocean type style effects. I'm just dragging this lovely, if you have got eyes ink at home, it's the ocean colour, and these are the dye based ones. I'm just going to turn that around. I'm just going to push that ink into that cardstock in sort of dragging motion. And over this corner here. Confetti ink is still not here, I know. Been waiting a long time, haven't we? I will let you know though as soon as it lands, guys. So we have sort of that sort of design on there. So this is the ocean colour. Then I'm going to go in with the blue, and I'm not going to cover it all. I'm just going to add some detail, okay? So let's just drag it down in different areas. So you still get that lovely sort of aqua tone underneath. See that there? There we go. So a bit more random with your second swipe. You see that there? And then I've got black. I'm daring it with the black. Maybe the black might be too black. I'm going to go for it anyway. You know, what's the worst that could happen? So Jane, the inks I'm using are my eyes ink inks. I've started to buy quite a bit of eyes ink products of late. One, because I'd like to pop it in my shop because I think it's cool. And two, because their ink pads are that nice and their glitter paste is that nice. Usually when you find 2 or 3 products from a range that are good, then all of it's going to be good. So I'm sort of like experimenting with them all. I'm absolutely loving them all, if I'm quite honest. Cup of tea. But I always, and I say this all the time, don't go out and buy all the colours. And it's the same if you're buying from me. You don't need them all. Just get the colours that you're loving, you know, you're going to use. Yeah, they'll look pretty on your display when you've got every single colour. And hey, I've got every single colour, look at me. You don't need them. Just get the colours you love. So I've bought a couple of aquatone teals and blacks. I bought your traditional wood colours. So like an orange and a brown here. And then I bought a couple of pinks. So, but the range has so many. So pick the colours you know you're going to absolutely use. It's nice to have them all. You know, we don't need them. Save your money. So this is the black. So I'm just going to take the black. I'm just going to sort of, but this time with the black, I'm sort of angling my ink pad a little bit towards the corner here. There we go. To this corner here. So I'm getting sort of a thin line. Can we see that there? So it's giving me a little bit of different texture on there. Okay. So same at this side. And I'm doing this on grey cardstock. Remember that. It would look completely different on black. Okay, so we've sort of like got something. We had a bit of a wood colour too. Let's add a bit of a wood colour too. So let's go with a brown. I've got lots of colours going on here, guys. So it really does look like that rusty blue sort of wood. And I'm angling, when I want thinner lines, I'm sort of tilting my ink pad over across a little bit. I'm going to leave that as is. So I think that looks quite cool. Now, shall we add some sort of flicks with some water and get it a little bit texturized? You know, when you see that wood and it sort of curls on the corners a little bit, shall we try and get a little bit of that in there? Ta-da, we'll try. So I'm just adding some water to my hand here, and I'm just going to flick it on a little bit in the hope that we can just get a bit of texture. on our background here. Just give that time to drink or to play around with the ink underneath, and then I'll put a tissue on and we'll lift it off, and hopefully it'll just lift that little bit of colour. We're good to go. It's getting the time to practice and play. It is. You know, I'm the same. And Jan's even pointed out there, the price. Sometimes we think, oh my gosh, sometimes things are too good to be true. And let me tell you, I've been there, they are. You buy them and you're like, I knew it, why did I do it? But they are really affordable. They are. So, you know. But it is personal preference. If you have inks at home that work, stick with them. Don't have to swap them. Let's just pop this on here just to drink this ink. Let's have a look. Oh, Carol's, are these distress inks or distress oxide? They are neither. They are the eyes ink ones. So let me just grab my... They are the 2-inch ones, these ones. I have the little minis, which I did take to TV. I got a little handful of those as well. But for this technique, I found that these bigger ones are a little bit better. But yeah, they're affordable. Why do ours look so pristine and covered in ink? You're joking. Oh. Are you telling me you'd be a lot worse? So as you can see, as the heat's setting this, we've sort of got like that lovely texture on the background there. And because it's on grey cardstock, the more it dries, the more obvious those sort of wet splats will become. So I'm really hoping I'll be able to get these in store. And if I do get them in store, I will pop them on the web as well. So if you do like them, then you can get them. I think it's really good to have variety as well. You know, as crafters, we are all incredibly different. And we all like different things. So I think it's really cool to have variety. We have Tim Holtz, you know, and if you love those and you're not budging and you like to stick with those, that's fine. But if your budget's not as wide or as broad to be able to get all the colours, which there are a lot, then these are more affordable and they're just as good. Right, so I have my tea rule here. Now you need a ruler for this technique, and I have a black pen. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put some wood strips in here. Let's just pop it on some white card so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Let's turn this over. What cardstock? This is a grey piece of cardstock. In fact, it's one of our grey top folding note cards, and it's some waste I had. So I just trimmed it down. So it's one of our grey top folding note cards that I had some waste of. So let's just grab this tea ruler and let's be creative. So I'm going to go with that sort of panel design, you know, like, I don't know what you would see these sort of panels on, like a shed, maybe painted in blue. Normally you see them in like oranges and things like that. So I've just got a fine liner pen here and I'm just going to draw some lines in, okay? I'm just going by eye, but if you are the type of crafter that drives you crazy if it's not precise, then measure. Okay, so I'm just going by eye here, but because I'm using my tea ruler, I should have a good effect. And this is what I did on my other bright card that you need your sunglasses for. So, and it worked. I'm just moving it across. You would never know that this had started by a grey piece of cardstock. If you rewind this from this to what we've, you know, what we've just come to now, it's like, wow, it really is cool. Right, there we go. And then what I'm going to do, I hope you can see those lines. Yes, you can, Jo, which is nice. I don't want them to be too prominent. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to turn my artwork around and I'm going to put like panels in. So I'm going to put one maybe down here. I will hold it up. I don't think camera will show quite how good this is going to look. So I'm just going to do one here. And then the next one, I'm going to chop it up a little bit and move my panel down. And I'll show you in a second when I hold it up. Make sure my tea ruler's just on time. So my boards are not exactly the same, and I quite like the oddness of it, should we say. So they're all a bit random, which is how it would be if you were putting a panel together, I suppose. I will look up in a second and have a look at questions, I promise. Cannot tell you how good this looks. So I have my panels, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw some like little, what's the word? They're like nail holes, little circles. Aaron, please do not do it wonky, it will drive me crazy. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm just doing some like little circles, and some I'm doing complete and some I'm just doing a little C. So the suggestion is there, okay? And I will show you in a second. So I'm filling some of the hot circles complete. I'm doing half a circle. I'm doing some fully shaded and some open, because they would never be the same. Oh, that's what word I was looking for, like a rivet, like a suggestion. I'm just doing all of the, these can be full ones because you're probably not going to see. No, we're not doing there. So I'll hold this up and hopefully. You see my design in that? There we go. So now what we need to do is we just need to sort of elevate the design a little bit. So we've got sort of our base. We've got our base on there, so but now we need to sort of elevate it a little bit. Now I'm wondering if, oh, I have. So I'm just going to take my white ink pad here. I'm just going to, well, I might have to use my finger. You need to try Eyes ink sprays, they are gorgeous. That's next on my list when I get time. That's next on my list. So I've just popped my tissue into my white ink pad, and the ink pad that I've got here is the Ranger one. Okay, I'm just going to brush it over the panel, bearing in mind that the white practically disappears. So I'm not going to be tight or soft-handed really. I'm going to literally just get that white on there. I'm just using that tissue. So this is just sort of like highlighting those panel boards. You can see how it's practically disappearing, which is not bad because it looks cool. Let me hold it up now and show you how cool that is. Just going to go a little bit more. It practically disappears once it dries, it sort of. Hold it, see if I can pick it up this way. You see that there? So you could absolutely go over. Looks amazing, Toni. I'm not quite sure about that, but the idea is there, isn't it? You can absolutely just, you know, push those lines back. It looks a bit formal to me, as in there's white in every panel now. So I'm just sort of like pushing it back a little bit more. I think you probably get a better result with your finger, but I don't want to get my hands dirty. There we go. So I think we've not done a bad effort there, guys, with our, almost like a piece of paper. That's cool. That is cool. Okay. So let's get on to actually using the stamp, shall we? Love it, yeah. Well, the teals and the coffee colours are always, I think you get the idea of what I'm trying to achieve. But like wood tones, pinks and greys, I've done one pink on pink here. It's not quite as good as this one, if I'm completely honest. I think I've got better as I've done the second one. So let's move on to our card. So in that lovely set, you get lots of dies. They go around all the words, and then you get the aperture that cuts out the beautiful panel in the centre here, and I'll just show you this one here. So I'm going to go with the largest one, which is our matte and layer. I'll just make sure. And what I'm going to do is I'll just make sure my die... I'm going to place it into the top here and put an aperture in this window. Now I'm going to lose probably the best part of my texture here, but it's okay, you get the idea. At least you know. Oh, before I do that, shall we just have a look at one other thing? Sorry. Because I think that these backgrounds, look here, can you remember all these lovely layering stamps that you've all got and dies and things like that? I mean, look at this, look at that, with that panel in the background and all of our extra little elements that we've been building, fussy cutting, you know, all the extra sentiments that we cut, how you can build. You just need a sentiment on that background. It looks quite cool. So I just wanted to show you that one. And there's the basket from our lovely Soulful, so you could do so much with them. So just enjoy them, that's what they're about. So let's now ruin it. I'm only joking. Toni, where do you find your inspiration? I don't know. The problem I have is when I find a technique that I really love, which at the moment is the ink swiping technique, because the results just make me look far greater than I am. I want to do it on everything then. So this one was the one that we did with the lovely sunset, didn't we, with our silhouette stamps? But look how cool it looks in wood now. So I'm now thinking, oh, how can we do ink swiping? What else can we create? You know, and that's just how it happens, really. But a lot of the time, social media inspires me, other crafters inspire me. So, and sometimes you see a card and you think, oh, I wouldn't have quite done it like that. The idea is fabulous, but my take on it would be completely different. And that's same with you at home as well. You know, you will be the same. Might see something I do and think, I like it, but, you know, I would have added some flowers. I would have left more space. It's a bit too fussy and things like that. And that's the crafting community, isn't it? It really is. We all like to do it all different, and that's how designs evolve. That's how inspiration evolves from us all trying just different things. I can't believe how good that wood looks. Me neither, Stephanie. For once, I'm pleased. I should have photographed that and made it into a paper, shouldn't I? Could you imagine? There's our centrepiece out of our... Try and take it off now. That, mind you, I don't need this part. Don't need this one. But look at that centre. Looks really cool. It does look like wood. And if you imagine if you maybe used a gold metallic pen for the boards, would that have made it look any different? I'm not sure. At the end of the day, we can try, can't we? So let's take this off here. So let's go on to the next stage of our card. So we've cut our window there. So we've got our lovely 2 pieces of wood there. This is a long demo, isn't it? I'm really sorry. And I have done it from absolute scratch, but I was super excited about it. So as long as you've got time to stay and have a cuppa, it's great, isn't it? And I haven't seen you all for ages, so... And I know where you all live if you turn off. I had so many messages about last show, you know. Oh my gosh, you cracked me up. Cracked me up. Everybody thought I'd been drinking. I promise you I hadn't. Right, so let's use the fabulous stamp. So I'm going to stamp the outline on this one first. So I'll just pop it on here. So to the lovely lady that said she wasn't sure and wasn't getting on very well with lamination, hopefully I'll be able to show you a little technique where it softens those lines and we get a better result. So just pop that on there. Now I'm going to stamp the outline in black, okay? So black's a great starting point. So just be mindful, this middle of the stamp here is filled in. And when you're adding ink, sometimes it does go into the centre there, so try not... I am cutting it away anyway with the die, but if you're not, just be mindful ink goes on there. And the reason why we keep the centre of the stamp in there is because the design stretches. So we keep that centre in there to keep it like in its shape in the design. Okay. So let's stamp this one out first. So we have our lovely sort of lily corner there. Let's just get rid of this one and let's swap it out for like the solid portion. So this is where you add your colour. Okay, so I'm just going to pop it on top. And when I'm happy it's in place, even if I don't quite get it right, it will be okay. So we'll go about there, I think. Okay, so we'll pick up that second stamp. And in keeping with our wood theme, let's go, shall we go with the lighter colour on this one? Let's go with the lighter colour and the orange, because we've got a touch of orange in our wooden background, haven't we? Just here, the wood tone. So I'm going to add a bit of orange to the flowers to hopefully tie it all together. It'll probably look like a hot mess. I'm only joking. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the orange and I'm just going to ink some of the stamp, not it all, just some. And I'm going to spray it with a little bit of water. Now this is where it softens the lines. I haven't inked all of the stamp, just some of it. So just give it a spray. And then we'll stamp it down and the colour sort of bleeds into those lines and it gets that detail into the centre of those flowers there. But I'd like to just extend that a little bit. So I've got the blue to tie in with our wood. And I'm just going to add some blue in some of the areas, not it all. I'm just going to give this a little spritz too. And I'm just going to bleed, hopefully, this lovely blue into that orange. You might get a touch of green, but it's okay. It's going to match with our blue. Perfect. There we go, look. So we get sort of some lovely painted. Now, if you want to try, you can try and bring that orange back. This is a great thing about lamination. Try and bring your orange back if you're thinking, I'm not quite sure. Add a bit more colour. What's the worst that can happen? It's a card, isn't it? You know. There we go. I'm happy with that. Nice and vibrant. There we go, look. So we've got some green, orange and yellowish lilies going on. But on my other one, we've got orange and pink. Flower pattern papers. I think. Yes, I'll have a think about it. So I'm just going to dry this off. See what I can do. So these are the eyes inks, Teresa. The colours that I've just used on this one are this one. I'll just get Nathan to do an overhead. So all of the colours, so if you want to pause the screen, these are the colours that I've used for this card so far. Hopefully you'll be able to get a screenshot or pause it and write them down. So I haven't got lots, as I've already said. Might get some more. They're pretty inexpensive, as you all know. So let's clean this stamp. So has anybody else got any eyes ink stuff that they want to tell me I need to get, spend my money? Tina's already said the sprays. You know, it's not very often I get a chance to play, but when I do get a chance to play, I do thoroughly enjoy experimenting and playing with other brands. You know, I love it. I guess that's why I'm in this business, hey, because I love it. So let's use the die now. So what we're going to do is in the set, so I used the large die to cut the aperture in this sort of wood effect background. You saw me cut that one through, but in the set you also get another die, so it's like a matte and layer, which is cool. So this smaller one I'm going to use, and I'm going to cut this frame out of here. Or we could go big. Let me just see. Did I go small? I went small on the other. Yeah, I'll do it different so you can see both ways on your card. So this is the big one. Or do I not? I'm not sure. Let's go big, yeah. What's the worst that can happen? So let's go big. So I've popped that outline on there and I'm going to tape it in place, okay? So this is not the original outline. This is the matten layer. So the outline, the smaller one, which you can use if you want to, you can use, but I'm going for the bigger one. So that's that. And then you also get the next layer inside to take out this aperture here. Can we see here? So I'm going to create like a window around my design. If you're not the most confident die cutter, do them one at a time, okay? But if you're a bit more advanced, then go ahead and use the two together. But just be mindful, if one runs over the other, you will ruin your die. So let's just pop this one through. So we're keeping it all in colour theme, which is super cool. Now looking at this one, that's just showing how rubbish the pink one is. Oh. So then let's just pop this design out of here very carefully without tearing it. And then we have our beautiful frame. See that there? There we go. But the problem I have there is, you're thinking, my gosh, look at the outline on there. It must be about 2 mil. Don't forget, I've swapped the outline out. There is a smaller one than this one. And there is a reason for this, because I want this card to be different to the pink one, so you can see both variations. So if you have a die in your stash you're going to work with this afternoon and try and replicate, then you know. And if you do like this one and you do buy it, then you know you've got that sort of design element where you've got the extra matten layer. Right, so what am I doing next? Right, acetate. So I have a piece of acetate. I've cut a square piece of acetate here. If you haven't got acetate, go and get one of your older stamps that you maybe don't use anymore. They're on an acetate sheet. You know, you get two sides, one's not printed and one's printed, well, with mine, but you might have stamps in your stash that are not printed at all. And just cut your plastic sheet down. Take them off and just pinch it. Nobody will ever know. So if you haven't got acetate, that's a great cheat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop my acetate to the back of this grey piece of card. Can we see here? So I'm just creating myself that pretty window in this card. So I'm just going to take my glue and glue all the way around. And then we'll pop our piece of acetate on here. Like so. Super easy. Nothing fancy. So then when we turn this one over, we've got an acetate window, and this can go inside, look. You see that there? So it actually looks like it's in a barn door now. How cool is that? So with the other one that I've done, it's floating, and you'll see that in a second. So let's glue this one in place. So then we'll pop this into this slot. Looks like it's actually been masked when it hasn't, which is nice. So I've just stuck this onto that piece of acetate that we've got floating in the back, okay? Now I'm thinking how cool this background would be, maybe with thicker lines. Do you think if I used a thicker pen than a 0.4, or a 0.4, if we'd have gone a little bit thicker, do you think it'd have been too in your face? I don't know, maybe the lines could have done with just being a little bit thicker. Like so. So what we need to do now is we need to grab our foam tape and we need to create that aperture in our window. So I have the roll. I just find this easier to move, but if you have pads, make sure you connect them all so all your bits don't drop out. So all I'm going for here is just in this window here. You see this window? I'm just going to tape off that area because that's all the area I'd like my shaker elements to be, because there's no point all the elements sat in this recess here. It'd be an absolute waste of my very precious sequins. So I'm just absolutely going around this window here. So, but make sure you've got absolutely no gaps, okay? So butt it right up. And some people like to double pad to give it extra elevation. I'm just a one layer sort of crafter, like so. And then I just need to pop some pads around the base here so that it doesn't sink on my card. So let's just grab some pads here. So these are just some offcuts that I've got floating around here. So I'll just pop that in there to stop that from sinking there. For all of my offcuts which I've used. Now, if you really wanted to be a little bit cleaner behind in your makings, you can obviously cut it at the same time you cut your aperture in your blue if you wanted to, but you know, I don't think people start tearing your cards apart and see all the makings. So let's start and put this on our card. So how I always do it is when I come to pop it onto my card here, I just look where it's going to go and then I pop the sequins in there. So I just have some like multicoloured sequins here, like some purples, some greens. And then just line it up, or I take my tape off when I'm happy. Might put a few more in. Second, I've just got a big clump of sequins all stuck together there. And then just move that up slightly, and then we'll take off our makings. So just take the backing off the tape, like so. If you're putting glitter in, you do need to absolutely make sure that there are no gaps in there. They'll just fall out. But, you know, I'm okay with that because I'm just using sequins. And then I pop my card blank on there. When I'm happy it's in place. Now, don't worry about the sequins because they will move. I can move and adjust them, but I just need to make sure I absolutely press that area where we've captured those sequins before I do any shaking. Pretty cool, hey? So in the set as well, we also get the lovely sentiments, which is cool, isn't it? So, you know, this piece that we cut out of the middle, I don't want to waste it. So what I'm going to do is I've stamped from the heart in white, and I'm just going to stick it onto here and give myself a matten layer. So I'm just going to cut this down first because it's just that I need to straighten it off or else I'll never get a straight sentiment. So, and then we'll go from there. So let's just move that to there for now. We've just got this piece here. Let's stick our fabulous sentiment on here. Now you do have the dies that go around the sentiment. Okay, if you want to do sort of the shape around, I'll just show you on the back here, look. You see how the dies go around the words as well. So if you've got a matten layer as well, so if you want to do the dies, I know a lot of you like your matten layers around your words. So I'll just pop this in here very quickly. Try and cut it as straight as I can. Who was it who said, how do you stay so clean? I promise you, I'm not very clean right now. I do have blue fingers. And then our sentiment We'll have a pad for the sentiment. Let's just pop our pad behind her. You know me, I never do centre. Off to the side there. And there we have quite a cool. Make sure all my, are they coming out? Nope. Nope, I'm good. I think that looks quite cool. Let me just get rid of there's one trap on the window. There we go. I'll just move all my stuff. So that's that one. And then this is the pink one I was talking about. Whoa. And this is the one where we didn't cut the same size die. So it's sort of a floating window. Can we see that one there? Sorry, hang on. It's just falling over. Just one sec. Hand up. I'll just step out of the way. So you've got that super vibrant pink one. So it's personal preference, guys. And on the pink one, I was a little bit more reserved with the ink swiping, but you can see on the pink one where I've not used the same dye as the outline and it hasn't paper pieced back in, it's sort of got that floating design in the window. So it's floating on that piece of acetate. Can we see that there? And the other one has been paper pieced back in. So this one's floating and it's got all the sequins at the bottom, and then this one has been paper pieced back in. I have to say, I absolutely love the wood on this blue one. I am chuffed, let me tell you. I hope you like it as much as I do. I'd love to see if you have a go this afternoon. Let me know. Post your makes over on the Eureka fan page. But yes, I'm absolutely chuffed with that blue one. Pink's nice as well, and I loved it until I did this one. So you'll be exactly the same at home as well. So don't forget to pop a comment underneath this video. Did you enjoy studio? Have I inspired you to dig out your stash? Don't forget we have the lovely sale over on FBL in the search engine on our website, and see if there's anything there you've had your eye on for a while. So whatever you're doing, have a lovely afternoon, stroke evening, and a lovely weekend for that matter. And I will see you all in studio on Tuesday. And we do have a lovely new launch coming up in about a week's time as well, which I'm super excited about because it's not stamped. So I will see you all then, Tuesday, 3 o'clock. Take care, everyone. Bye.